Welcome everybody to the AO Scan weekly meeting where we do question and answer and today we're going to do a little bit of a presentation on the AO Scan, and I'm pretty excited because I just got done with a training with them, but I want to just put out there that the AO Scan is not a medical device. It's not a diagnostic device, and it's just an educational device, and we're not medical professionals. We're not giving medical advice. And on that note, let's get started because there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. For those of you that have the AO scanner, I'm not sure if you've opened it up and seen the hormone scan, but I'm going to go over some of the basics and then get back to the hormone scan. So let's get started. I've got Zoom meeting stuff in the way, so just there we go. All right. So the AO scan is a wellness center in the palm of your hand. I absolutely love using it every day and see the benefit when I'm working with other people, and also just the feedback we get. And with this weekend, we just really had a wonderful time hanging. We stayed in a house with 20 people who are all like-minded and putting our minds together on how we use this tool. So just kind of jump right into, most of the time we're looking at symptoms, but what we really need to look at is the root cause of the problem. Past couple of weeks, I've been talking a lot about Vegas, and it's very obvious that Sandy at the Vegas clinic is going for the root cause and not just treating the symptoms. Treating the symptoms may give temporary relief, and that's good. But what we want to do is really go for that root cause. So that's what the AO scan allows us to do with our daily scans. I'm just going to go over a bit of that. So this is an old clip of what the AO scan has, but with the AO scan, we identify specific frequencies in the human body. They look for, I think it's over 150,000 different frequencies now. That was mentioned at the conference this weekend, so I did not update this slide yet. It's a biofeedback device, an educational tool to check your body at any time during the day or night, and it restores balance in the body, mind, and spirit. And it's an affordable handheld device. And I should change that also to, you can use this on any device now. So they have updated the program, so you don't need to buy a device from them. You can use it on any handheld device or a computer. And we're having people that have success with it with any device. So, so the inner voice report, a lot of us are doing the easy scan, but if we're doing the easy scan, we still need to back out of that and look at our inner voice report. So when you do the easy scan, it does 4 scans in one. It does the inner voice, the quick scan, the comprehensive, and the vitals. If you're looking at just the easy scan, it's only telling you what's wrong. It's not giving you the details that we see in this inner voice report. So what I really like doing with this is looking at the emotions. If one of these emotions that you see on your report, if you say, oh yeah, that's definitely me, and it's a negative emotion, then we need to try and release it or ask. Like a quick thing is just to either take your hand or take magnets and swipe over the top of your head. So start at the forehead and swipe over to the back of your head, saying, please release whatever that emotion is. It also gives potential causes, things that we might see in the vitals that could help us. Usually these are things that we need. So vitamin A and coenzyme Q10 would be something that we should pay attention to here. And then things that we can do, imbalances and suggestions. And always with the inner voice, there's 4 reports with the inner voice. And if you only have time to look at one, or you just want to concentrate on the most important one, it's always the last one. So the vital scan, this is just a quick review. If we're 5 in the middle, then we're optimal in balance. If we're out towards those edges, either 1 or 9 or red, then that means that it's something that's out of balance. And when we're at those higher numbers, it's a high out of balance, is increasing inflammation risk. And when we're low, it's diminishing function. And usually that diminishing function means it's more chronic, and the inflammation means it's more of a acute thing going on. So it does scan the blood, and it's taking inventory of what's going on in our body. It's not diagnostic, but it is giving us an education and an idea of what we can look at. So with many people, we've been able to put the pieces together in this scan and tell you, this is what you need to go to your doctor and say, hey, can we take a look here? Because there's something going on here. And then you can guide your doctor actually in helping you, or you can find natural things to do yourself. So it does look at hormones a little bit in the vitals, but I'm going to show you something new with the hormones in just a minute. So the comprehensive scan, again, just a quick look at it. It's similar to an MRI or a CAT scan. Scans all the physical components of the body, including the arteries, veins, nerves, organs, lymphatic system, chromosomes, spine, vertebrae, muscles, ligaments, glands, teeth, and more. You can optimize these areas. So on the, I believe I left it in, yeah, on the next slide, you'll see here, you know, we start off at, this one was really bad at 81% from ideal. And the optimization just in one scan got it to 38% from ideal. This, I believe, was me back in March of last year. And then you'll see later on in the day, I did another scan. So I started off, I did some work on my liver because I saw that it was crazy out of balance. And later on that day, it was only 34% from ideal to begin with, and then got to 31% from ideal. So just an idea of just how the frequencies can help one organ. And you can scan as many things as you want with the comprehensive scan. So the body system scan, this is where we just had a new breakout scan added, and that's the hormone scan. So you'll see down the bottom, hormones were added. So I did not change this. It scans 14 systems now. So 13 systems plus the hormones, and provides a detailed description of each system. So the report is going to look much like the inner voice with those imbalances and suggestions, except for the hormone report. We're going to show you that in the next screen. Actually, this is what the body systems looks for everything else. We're going to quickly go past this. I'm sure you've all seen this before. If not, we can review it. But this is what the hormone scan is going to look like. And just a few things from the training. Before you start looking at this and evaluating from the hormone scan, they suggest that you do 3 scans per day for 3 days. So that would be 9 scans total. And if you don't get 3 in a day, just when you get to 9, it has probably learned you enough. But they want you to do 3 per day for 3 days, and then start looking at your reports as because then the scanner will have learned, it just needs to learn who you are a little bit. So these are all the hormones that it scans for. And I'm just going to go over a few of the notes that I have from the conference. So why do we care about hormones? So if we see in our vital scan that something's going on with the thyroid, liver function, calcium, or even in the hormones part of the vital scan, we want to, dig a little bit deeper, and you can just go into the body system scan and deselect everything and only scan for the hormones, or you can do a full body system scan and the hormones will be down the bottom. So if we see that our melatonin is consistently low and we're having trouble with sleep, it may help us to supplement that melatonin or do some kind of precursor to melatonin to get that melatonin up. A lot of times it's just that we're on our screens too late in the day, and that stops us from producing melatonin. So this was one that I found interesting, aldosterone. I had no idea that has to do with hydration. So if we see aldosterone is high, it means we're not absorbing water. If it's low, we may be absorbing too much water, maybe some edema, and it's not, you know, we're not, but that's something to look for with aldosterone. It has to do with hydration. If our thyroid is out of balance, we may want to go back to the vitals and see if the throat chakra is out of balance and send some frequencies to that. PSA for men has to do with prostate. And I've heard this before, but most men die with prostate cancer, not from with prostate, yeah, with prostate cancer, not from prostate cancer. And I've heard Dr. Cowden say in the past that if you have some signs of prostate, it's a better idea not to do the biopsy, not to poke into that, because usually that aggravates prostate problems and doesn't solve them. So there are other things that we can do. We can balance things in order to help that. So the parathyroid, when we see that in the scans, has to do with calcium absorption, calcium distribution, and it can be pulling, when the parathyroid is high, it can be pulling calcium from the bones. Estrogen protects against that pulling of calcium from the bones. That's another thing to look for. If we're low in estrogen, we may need to balance that out. And then some other things that can help with stopping the pulling of calcium from the bones is either weightlifting or like light weightlifting, even resistance training. And then if that's not possible, some muscle stimulation with an electric muscle stimulator / TENS machine. So this is just a review of what we already know, or maybe if you're new here, you don't already know that, but you can scan your own supplements into the supplement library. And someone was asking me just the other day what the most important vitamins are, and they're going to be different for everyone. The supplements that you take are the ones that you need. So I have my supplement library in the AO scan, and when the AO scan says I need something, I take that. It's a little tough when I'm traveling because I don't know what to take with me, what it's going to suggest, but I did notice that over the 4 days I was gone, my scans were coming up that I needed selenium. And it was like every scan said selenium, selenium. So when I came home, I took some selenium. I didn't have it with me, but just something to watch, especially if something comes up over and over. That's something you definitely need. So the quick scan is something that I do in the middle of the day, usually just to get, what supplements do I need, and a quick pick me up. There is a little bit of an audio there. It's not like the inner voice audio that when we listen to that, that's it, but it's just a shorter one. So it's a quick way to either rev up or wind down, or a pick me up, or just to see what supplements we need. And the Cephi is one of the most powerful things in the AO scanner. You can look up, if you go to the quantum homeopathics, you can look up things by symptom. You can make custom playlists. You can go and, if someone needs pain relief, you can make a pain relief custom playlist. You can look up absolutely any symptom. And yeah, imprint the Cephi dots. The Cephi dots are awesome too. And in this energy HomeoEnergetics, you're going to notice that there's more detox categories and support that have been added. And we can do a screen share and see that. I didn't make a slide for that. So I just want to say that if you can put your health back in your own hands, the subscription is $149 a month. You can either do just the subscription, or some people choose to do a bundle where you get some of the products that Solex offers in the bundle. You get a discount when you buy one of the bundles when you sign up. And I wanted to put it out there that I got an email last week, someone that has been using the scanner for a while, is having trouble with the subscription. So the next 3 people that let me know they want a subscription are definitely going to go under that person. So you can either email me at heatherplude@gmail.com. You can sign up for a scan through heatherplude.com. And this month there is a promotion going on that you get the patches, which are like EMF protection when you sign up. So you will get those free as a bonus with a new subscription. So I'm going to stop the share there, and I'm going to see what we have for questions. And then maybe we'll do some screen sharing. So Jose asked, does it give frequencies to use in a Rife or a PEMF machine? So if you saw, like if you have, I know when I used to do Rife, I had a book with all the, like you could look up Borrelia or Babesia, and you could target that frequency. So it doesn't tell you what number frequency you should go for, but let me just do a little bit of a screen share here, and I'll show you in the vital scan where you would see like the bacteria and the, oops, I made things really small. Oops. All right, that should be better. Let's do a screen share now. I was trying to screenshot the hormones and just didn't fit on the screen, so I made my screen a lot smaller. Hopefully that's pretty, sorry, my own screen, my PowerPoint was in my way of my screen. So this is all of the things that are available here. You see down the bottom here, and I didn't even mention this, this is another thing that was released, this AO MindSync, which is amazing, but we're gonna answer that question first, and then we can get back to that. We should have time. So this is my latest scan. So let's just scroll down to the toxicities. You can see there's over 800 things that are scanned for here. But when we start at the toxicities, it starts off with like trees and grasses that it looks for allergies with, but then we get into bacterial things. So I'm going to just make this a little bit skinnier so it's easier to follow. But when something stays out of balance, so this one started out as a 3 and went down to a 2. That's Bordetella. So that would be something, you know, it didn't balance at all, actually. So when things don't balance, that is something that you could target with Rife. So got Salmonella here. I might have a chakra imbalance because I'm looking at things are not going in the right direction for me. But this under fungus, this talomycosis. So you can just look for the things like that is what if I was still using Rife, if I still had my GB4000, which I don't, I would look for things that are out of balance. I mean, and, you know, this tells me what I already know, which is I have a heavy metal problem. So all these things out of balance here, they did balance out here, at least somewhat. But I know I still have to do work on that area. So I was just traveling, not a surprise that I have some molds here to deal with. But again, here's something you can definitely do with Rife. You'd look for the parasites that are there and target those with Rife. So yes, you can dial in Rife frequencies from what you see in your scans. Hopefully that answered your question. If I didn't, then just put another question in. Susan asked, can I do a scan over the phone with my sister? She's in Florida and I'm in Pennsylvania. Absolutely, I do this every day. So you can either do it with a voice recording or while you're on the phone with her. And so let's stop my share so you can just, when I first started using the scanner, they were like, yeah, you got to hold the scanner, you got to hold the phone up here. No, you don't have to do any of that. Just like while they are on the phone, they just talk to you for the 10 seconds and you'll have your scanner running on the other side. So you do have to have 2 devices. So if you can't do that, just have them send you a voice recording through Google Voice, which is free. Then you can play it on the computer while you hold your scanner up to the computer. And many times that's what I do. But if you have a phone and another device, you would just and my device is actually plugged in right now, but you would just hold them up to each other while she scans, and then the rest of it just works. So you're just going to put her information in there and then do the scan on her. And it's remarkably accurate for
Great. Thank you. I tried doing it without her voice, and I was like curious why it didn't work, and then I realized, oh, I don't have her voice.
yeah, that especially if you're doing the easy scan. Now you can do the scans, you can do the vitals and the comprehensive without the voice. But for the inner voice, you do need the voice. And actually, to do the body systems, it won't let you do the body system scan without the voice. But there are 2 scans that you can do without it, and that's the vitals and the comprehensive. And I'll just show you on a screen share again, because this is something I get questions on this quite often. When you go into the comprehensive, there's 4 different buttons you can push here to do the comprehensive scan. If you push on the inner voice one, it's going to do it based on the inner voice scan. If you choose the vitals one, it's going to choose the things that are chosen from just the vital scan. If you click on combined, it's going to do both of those. But you can do the comprehensive scan by clicking on the custom scan, and then you would just choose your own. And you can choose your own with either one of those buttons. But if you haven't done a voice scan and you go in here and you choose any of these 3, it will tell you you have to do a voice scan. So in order to do the comprehensive without a voice recording, without doing the inner voice first, you have to do the custom scan. So just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Debbie said, if you don't get the device and only use the computer, how do you scan the supplements in? I thought you had to put them on the device to scan. I have had people tell me that they are just tipping their laptop up and putting it on there. I don't know if that is working just as well, but most people do have a mobile phone. So this is not the Solex device. It's my regular mobile phone. So I would just do it through the mobile phone. So if you don't have the regular device, you can do it. I know you can scan those. I don't trust the laptop thing as much as I do a mobile phone. So if you have a smartphone or a laptop, or even if you don't have a smartphone or a laptop, have someone else sign in from their smartphone and laptop and help you scan your supplements in. So that would be how I would do that.
So could you, Heather, could you use your phone and have the software in your real phone, but then also have it on the computer? Because looking at a phone, it's just so small. I'd rather have a computer to see
Absolutely.
it easy.
Yes. Yeah. And in order to put it on any phone, all you do is go to app.aoscan.com in any browser. And then you can save that to your home screen if you want to, but you don't have to. But that is how you would just sign in from there. It would sign you out of the computer. So next time you go in on the computer, you're just going to have to sign in again. So you can have it on as many devices as you want. You're not limited by that at all. It's just if you sign into one device, it's going to sign you out of the other. So you just have to sign in again.
Okay.
And I know plenty of people who have put all their supplements in on the computer and then just scan them in, because you can go in and edit those supplements. So you can type them in on the computer and then go to your phone and you would just open them up and scan them in. Okay?
Thanks.
All right. Susan asked, how do I scan my essential oils? Can I just use the glass bottles? They come in and set them on my scanner. So you don't want to use the whole bottle of oil. You want to, like what I do is I take a shot glass and I put things that are liquid or oils or powders. Either you would have one for wet and one for dry. Obviously, you don't want to do oil and then put in a powder, but and then just clean them out really good in between. So you'd want to, I mean, if you're going to use a drop, and I don't think a drop is actually on there, so you would just put one other. But if you use a couple of drops, put that in. But if you put the whole bottle of essential oils, it may never come up because it's just too much for the body. So same with supplements. You don't want to scan the whole bottle of supplements, even if it's in a nice glass bottle, because it may not ever come up, because you don't ever want to take a whole bottle of supplements. So you want to put the dosage on there and scan that in.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can scan in different dosages. So if you're not sure whether you need 1 drop, 2 drops, 5 drops, scan them all in. So Lisa said, out of curiosity, can the AO scan indicate the possible presence of cancer in a specific area of the body, like can be done by a special scanning machine that doctors use, which I am well aware of, but don't recall the name. So I've scanned people who have cancer, and the one thing I notice is that there's a lot out of balance, not necessarily in the area that that person has been diagnosed with cancer with, but sometimes there is. But I had a friend who had breast cancer, who oddly enough didn't have much going on in her breast, but had a lot going on in her liver, her pancreas, her spleen, and there was a lot of abnormalities there. So I would say the comprehensive is the place to look for those tissue things. So and actually probably going to see some real imbalances in the hormones now that we have that one too. So I believe, like, I do see, and actually I just had someone who was having trouble with a cancer diagnosis and pinpointing what was going on. And she took a bunch of scans, put them together, and brought the information to her doctor, and they were able to find what they were looking for from her scans. So I do believe it can help with that, but it's all about putting the pieces together. There's a new class in Solex University called, it's either putting the pieces together with Vital Scan. It's $99 for the class. I just signed up for it, but haven't done any of the classes yet. But it's like, I forget what it's called. I just signed up for it, and but it had to do with the Vital Scan. So there's another one that was earlier, and I asked them if they thought I should do that one first, but they said that first one's pretty basic. So I took the newer one that, like I said, it's $99. So if anybody's interested.
God, I hate PS Homeboy, dude. Oh, they want to,
hang on
they want 4 different models of the Lisa chair, about 10.
Here we go. Yeah, so I think that you can get a lot of ideas through the vitals and through the comprehensive in that case. And since we don't have any more questions right now, I'm going to go back to sharing the screen and share that AO MindSync, because that is pretty cool. I only have used this one time, but what happens here is you can pick any of these spots for affirmations. And we've got another, well, I thought we had something. Yeah, so I'm going to mute. All right. So like if you want to do the health affirmations, I believe I've already done it, but so you would pull this up and then press this record custom affirmation. And then what happens is this is going to actually record what I'm saying right now. So you would say, my lungs are strong and full of breath. I wake up refreshed and energized. I trust my body to know what it needs. And then whenever you're done, like you can go the whole time and keep saying it. And then it's going to, when you're done, you're going to pick one of these background things that you want. And then you're going to press play. And then you can adjust these things, the music and the voice, and however you're comfortable. And you can choose either low, mid, high, or you can not have any offset at all. So they'll be playing at the same time. But what they said at the conference is what you want to do is you want to adjust this until you hear it right here. So you may be getting it in each ear, but when you have it at the right adjustment for you, you should be hearing it in the middle of your head. I have not quite gotten that down yet, but I'm gonna work with it some more. So this is really exciting that we can do affirmations. If you can't do them yourself, have someone speak them for you. If you want to do the custom one, like if somebody were to send you a recording of their affirmations, you would just do this custom one and then record the custom affirmations. You would just play it into there. So if someone wants to write their own affirmations there, it's something really powerful that we can listen to. One of the doctors that demoed this before it was just released this weekend, but he had it for 2 months before the release. He's a naturopath in North Carolina, and he said he's just seeing incredible results with him and with his clients. Oh, and also you can email this to people. So like after you do it, you can send it to yourself, to whoever has done it. So really another powerful thing that we have available to us. And you know, they reiterated this weekend that they're always adding things, but they're never going to up that price of the subscription. So we're getting more and more quality, more and more things that we can use, but that subscription price is always going to stay the same. Sorry. So yeah, the MindSyncs, that hopefully that answered that, Dawn. And play with it. And if you have questions, let me know. Basically, I mean, they did a half-hour presentation on it, so they're, you know, maybe something that I missed, but so Suzanne said, I presume when we listen with the with the AO MindSync, you actually need regular headphones for that. They said you can listen with the bone conducting, but probably the best way is with regular headphones. And that one, they said, because it is putting something in one ear and then the other, the best way is with headphones. And then is this in any other language? Sorry. They are working on getting it in other languages, and it's not here yet, but they will be adding it. So yeah, I wish I could say that that's already here, but we do have training in other languages. I believe, I don't think Spanish, but I think Portuguese. And I can get you in touch. I think I might have already done that, Suzanne, though, is get you in touch with the person in Ecuador. And I believe they speak Portuguese there. I may be wrong. But if I haven't gotten you in touch with him yet, he was at last year's Day of Discovery, and I reached out to him for somebody, and I can't remember if that was you or someone else. So the MindSync, I thought it would stop after once. It just continuously goes. So if you do 10 affirmations, it's going to just play them over and over. If you do 100 affirmations, same thing. It's just going to play them over and over. So until you stop it, that's how long it plays for. I feel like I've gone over a lot, but there's so much more. So, oh, Jose said Ecuador is Spanish. I don't know why I thought it was Portuguese. All right, thank you. But yeah, so I can get, if anybody wants that, just send me. I'm going to put my email right here in the email in the chat. So if anybody wants, I don't remember his name right off the top of my head. So yeah, if anybody wants his name, I can look him up on Facebook. I sent a message out to him. It's almost a year ago, but I'll find him. Yeah, Suzanne. So just with the headset, we'll be able to sense the frequencies on the top of our head. That is what this doctor said that he was feeling. Like I said, I tried it the first night that I did try it, and I'm like, I'm getting it in the top of my head. But you know, maybe it's because I'm full of metals and still have some work to do, or you know, maybe it's that I need to get out of my own head and keep working with it. Yeah, so I'm going to go over some of the other things since we have some time. And if you have questions, just type them in the chat or unmute, however you want to ask. But they released a Methalyne Blue product. Now, I'm sure you've heard of Methalyne Blue. You may be like me, like you've heard of it and you didn't pay much attention to it because that's how I'm like, oh yeah, Methalyne Blue, it's like another supplement, whatever. But yeah, there's been a lot of studies on Methalyne Blue. And a lot of them are really high dosage studies. And there's a lot of side effects that are reported in these studies. So when I say high dosage, what I remember from the presentation was a lot of these studies were at like 500 milligrams of Methalyne Blue. And who knows how pure that Methalyne Blue is. I guess Methalyne Blue can be really contaminated with heavy metals. So it's a natural plant-based substance, but they say that you can find a lot of lead and arsenic, of course, because we have a lot of that in our soil, right? So what Solex did is they purified Methalyne Blue, combined it with, they made it nano. So if you've got the earth, they made it the size of a marble. And that's what nano does, is it takes the particulate size and it makes it smaller so you can absorb better. And then they combined it with nano gold and silver, and they have 0 side effects with thousands of trials. And the doctor who started working on it a few years ago and actually presented this on the stage said that he's gone into hospitals where people were suffering from different viruses, and I'm not going to say a virus name, but one that's been around like the last few years. And he said that people were able to walk out of the hospital fairly quickly. And he's had remarkable results with this nano-sized Methalyne Blue. So that if you do wind up getting it, it's $50 regularly if you wanted to just order a bottle, but if you put it on auto ship, it brings it down to 45. They didn't even have a discount at the conference. Usually things get discounted, but this one they're not discounting at all, except for that 45 for the auto ship. And that is a discount off retail. So that's like the preferred customer price. But I can tell you that they gave us a sample size at the conference, and it's really quite amazing the way that it makes you feel. And they said that it can help with just about anything. So really super strong. Another product they released at the conference was called Pulse. And that's a niacin product, but also nano sized. We got to sample that too. I actually bought both of those at the conference because they were pretty amazing. So the way they say to do it is take the Methalyne Blue and use this either the 660 band to amplify, to put light into the veins and get that into our system faster, or get out in the sun. So if you don't have a 660 band or some kind of, you could use it, like if you have a terahertz wand, you could use that. If you have the illuminator, which is also an infrared light, or any kind of infrared light or frequency to put on yourself to really amplify that. So, and then an hour after you take the Methalyne Blue, if you take the Pulse, the niacin product, the two of them really work great together. I do know that some people were saying they take them at the same time at the conference, because some people got to demo these things. So there were some, we got to talk to a lot of people there. And then for anyone who's using the terahertz, the iTerracare one, which I have one and I use it myself, they took that apart and looked at the weaknesses and built some strengths into it, and they made a terahertz one. So even if you don't have the iTerracare, Solex has their own that they've improved upon what the other one was doing by adding some quartz crystals into it. Instead of just red light, it's red and blue light. And it's just from the people that I know that bought it at the conference. Now I did not, but I know some people that had the iTerracare wand. They had the big, like there's one the regular IteraCare one is $380. There's another one that's almost $4,000. And they said that this one's as good as that other one. It is $1,000 instead of the $380 for the lower quality. Like, and I shouldn't say lower quality, but the lowest level of that IteraCare wand. And I guess Canada's had some problems where you can't get the IteraCare wand there for the time being until someone like Canada's really strict on certain things and trying to cut off a lot of things. You can still get the Solex wand up there. Oh yeah. So Lisa, thanks for reminding me. So Lisa said, can you talk about some of the new frequencies in the detox and support? Yeah, let me see. I should have gotten my notes out on that, but let's go and see what I can remember. And then, for what I can't remember, you always have Google, and I will look back in my notes and see what I can find. So you're going to go into Cephi and then Energy HomeoEnergetics. So here, we already had adrenal thyroid support, which is the second one down now. That used to be the top one. Of course, everybody knows ADD, ADHD. So anti-stress, that's a pretty easy one. Arterial sclerosis. I don't really know a lot about that, but to me, sclerosis tells me it's probably spine. So aspartame, if you've ever drank anything with aspartame, you want to get that out of your system. So this is going to help you do that. Aspergillus is a mold. So there's mold detox in here, but this is specific to aspergillus. So if you see aspergillus coming up under molds in your detoxes, then you definitely want to do that. Bacteria was there before. Baptisia tinctora. I'm sorry, I don't remember that. I'm going to look back in my notes and see what I have here. Because I know I took notes on this. Yeah, I went back into. I should have had this opened up to these because it may just be in I may have just taken pictures because I really don't see it here. HomeoEnergetics. Yeah, I took a lot of pictures. So next week I'll put those pictures into a slide so we can get what was said there. So if you see a lot of things out of balance in your body systems, this would be everything put together, body system support. Camus-C, I know that was one of the ones that they went over. Carcinocyte is a miasm. I believe that was in there before. Cerebral is going to be our brain. Chemical detox, self-explanatory. Dental was in there before. Diabetes one is a new one. So if you see in your hormones that insulin is out, and leptin is another one that can be diabetes related, you would want to go in here to diabetes. This Epstein-Barr was in there before, so was E. coli. This will come up as EGA when you're seeing it in your easy scan. So sometimes the titles are a little bit different when they come up as something you need. So again, if you're seeing things in your hormones, and you're a female, that you want to do the female endocrine support. I believe if I had a male pulled up here, it would say male endocrine support there. Graviola, it's immune support, but I remember them talking about it, but it doesn't come to me what it is. So then here's hers endocrine reproductive support. So, if you're having trouble conceiving, that would be, and then herpes simplex, that was in there before. That will come up in your easy scan as HS detox. Hypertension, circulation. So that's pretty self-explanatory. That's like getting our blood flowing. And, we all know that blood clots recently are a problem. This one was in there, the insect detox. Insomnia, if you're having trouble sleeping. Lithium, if you're having trouble with depression. So that's a support. Lyme detox was in there. Mammary plus. pretty self-explanatory. Menopause, another one that's in there from the, that's to go with the hormone support. Metal plus detox, mold fungus was in there before, nerve ease. So yeah, that's a great one to just give it a try, see if it helps. You know, we all need, and neuroendocrine, those are two great ones to try. Nicotine, if you've ever smoked or been around smoking. I don't remember if pesticide was in there before. I think it was. But prostate support, protozoa, that's a type of parasite. This one is another miasm that was in there before. Radiation detox. If you're flying like I was, I imprinted my Solex things with radiation detox before I flew. And if you go through the scanner, which you shouldn't, but if you have to, and you shouldn't have to, you should be able to decline it, which I do. But if you go through the scanner, then you need to, anything that you've imprinted, you need to clear and re-imprint it after you go through that scanner, sorry. Sciatica, also, like if you, it's pretty self-explanatory, that pain that goes down one leg. And silicone, if for breast implants, super great detox that they added. Sinus Plus, I think, was in there. Sleep Easy, psychosis, this one was in there before. I think syphilis was in there before. Trace Mineral Complete was in there before. Verma Plus Detox, that was in there before, but just if you don't know, that's a parasite detox. And then I think Virus Detox is actually a new one. So just a quick, and then I'll look at my pictures and see if we can't put something together for next time on anything I might have missed. Oh, so Suzanne said it might be too complex, but can you briefly explain what a miasm is? And it's an inherited thing. So people, some people believe too much in genetics. So genetics is probably 3% of, or maybe even less of what is going on with a person. Most of it is epigenetics. So that's our environment and what we expose ourselves to. But miasms are things that we inherited, but it's still not genetic. So I'm going to separate that in a way. So we can be affected by things that have been in our family 7 generations deep. So let's say someone 3 generations ago had syphilis. That can affect us. It's not saying it's genetic. It's just saying that we need to detox from that, the effects of that. I was muscle tested by Dietrich Klinghardt at one of his conferences, and he found that my life was being affected by someone who resented me. It wasn't someone living, it was someone dead. It was someone on my, he was absolutely sure it was someone on my mother's side. And then he narrowed it down to my mother's father's sister. And I said, that is impossible. My grandfather didn't have a sister. I called my mother. Thank God I had her to reach out to, but she said, actually, Grandpa had a sister who, as a baby, she was diagnosed with mental retardation. And at that time, in the early 1900s, what they did with babies who were mentally, they don't even use that word anymore, but they put them in homes. They put them in not even homes, like state facilities. So my great aunt was put in a state facility as a baby, and no one even knew about her until she died in her 50s. My grandfather didn't tell my mother, didn't tell anyone. And then my mother found out about it when she died. So my grandfather did have a sister. She was holding resentment toward my family, and that was affecting me in my life. And I could release that then. What he told me to do, even before I had confirmed him, he says, this is what you need to do. You need to go home and hug a pillow and ask her for forgiveness and tell her you love her. That is what she needs. And that I wound up doing that, and I had this huge release of crying, which I believe really helped me with my life and helped me with my health. So that maybe, I mean, I'm not even sure that would be a miasm, but that's something that affected me generationally, right? So it's just an example of how something can affect your life. So Lisa asked, did you learn anything additional in regards to how we can support the lymph system? So we had big discussions. Like I said, we stayed in a house with 20 of us. It was such a great experience because everybody's like-minded, right? And you have discussions that you'll just never forget. I posted, if anybody's on the, if you're not on the Facebook Healing ALS site, and if you don't do Facebook, then contact me and I'll give you this one. But there was a Dr. Mark Lynch who has a YouTube video where you do some tapping and some gua sha. And I have been doing stuff like, so you want to tap down here 50 times and then pull down here. And one of the doctors that was there said, when you're doing all that, because I said I use not castor oil. Yeah, castor oil. Olive oil. This is actually olive oil and comfrey leaf, but you can use some kind of oil. But she said to use cypress oil, which would be the best way to stimulate the lymph and do some of that. So, you know, I wish there was more, like, there's so many different ways to stimulate the lymph. You know, do them all. Do everything you can. If you can do this one and keep tapping different areas, the chi, the vibration, dry brushing. And there was one more I was thinking about this morning when we were talking about it, but I'm drawing a blank on the other one. But everything that we can do for our lymph, because our lymph,
Rebounder.
the rebounder, thank you, Sue, and the EMS 10s. That's another way to do it. So the electronic muscle stimulation, don't just get the one that's a 10s. And there isn't much of a price difference between the two to get EMS. It's electronic muscle stimulation. So yeah, I would do everything. I wouldn't just try one. I would try them all. And if you can't stand on a rebounder, you can sit on it. If you can't move on a rebounder, you can sit on it and belt yourself to another person who is gently rebounding. And Barbara O'Neill says to do the rebounder for 1 minute an hour. So don't just do it for a half an hour in the morning and overdo it, right? Do it for a minute an hour. So if you can spread that out during the day while you're awake, and maybe only for the first part of the day too. You don't want to be doing that right before bed and get things moving before you go. But I mean, if you can handle it for more than 1 minute, then do. But if you do it for 1 minute an hour, it's going to help you throughout the day. So hopefully that helps. And you know, if you can find someone in your area that has the body activator, there's one place in Tennessee, and then there's the place in Vegas that has the body activator. If you're not near Tennessee or Vegas, contact chiropractors in your area and see if they would add it to what they already have in their system. I presented to some doctors, not last week, but the week before, and I put out there that yes, it's a $30,000 machine. Not everyone can afford to have one in their home, but there's 45 of them in homes in the United States, and only 2 clinics with them. But if you can present to a chiropractor, hey, if you take out a loan for $30,000, the payment on that is right around $600. If you do 10 a month, 10 at $60 a month, that pays for your payment. If you can do 20 or 30 a month, you're doubling and tripling your money on it. So someone can make their money back very quickly. That is how some of the clinics, the two that have them, started out with one and then built up to having multiple by doing that. Lisa said, I recently unplugged my high techs due to impending hurricane and left them off for a few days, and have to admit that I found it so peaceful not to have listened to the constant humming noise of the high techs. If I've been running the high techs for almost a year now, can I leave them off from time to time? If so, how long? when you turn them back on, did you have that burning smell? That's going to tell you whether you're getting mold that isn't taken care of. So that would tell you. And yes, I sometimes shut mine off. I shut them off at night now because I'm shutting the electricity off on certain ones. Okay, so I would say if you turn them back on and you get that burning smell, then you're, you know, you should leave them running more. But where you said no, then fantastic. That means that you're probably good to shut them off for periods of time, and then maybe only turn them on, you know, a day here and there, and things will last a little bit longer. So you won't have to go. The bulbs are rated for 1 year, so if you're using them half that time, you can, you know, go a little bit longer without replacing them. Just make sure that you're rotating the reactor pads. If they start to look thin, it's time to replace everything. So people with ALS are stuck inside all day, having to be subjected to this constant noise when normal people like you get to leave their homes during the day when the high techs are normally running. Yeah, I totally understand that. And it's one of the things that Tish was telling me, because I mentioned this to Tish, and she said that's something Eric Edney told her 12 years ago. But it's something I noticed when my son got really sick. I had to leave my job and stay home with him. And he had to stay home because his white blood count was so low. So we're both staying home. I'm taking care of him full time. He's sick full time. We're not leaving the house much at all. And it wound up being our house that was making us sick. He started compounding and getting worse. And we didn't realize that it was the house that was doing it. So that's another thing. I mean, if you have a high tech running, you don't have to worry about that. But another thing to realize when we do stay home, we need to look at our environment of our home even more. Make sure that that environment is pristine. And I talked to somebody the other day, and I probably have mentioned that here, and I know we've mentioned it in the 47 steps about water, because they were filtering their water with reverse osmosis just at the drinking water. And I said, well, what about your showers? Because if you have fluoride in your water and you're taking the shower, you're drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water through your skin. So you don't want to put that fluoride or those contaminants that are in the water. It's not just fluoride, but fluoride's a big one if you have it. So you want to filter at the house level. Either that or sponge bath with the filtered water, I guess. But when this is another conversation we had this weekend about the things that we need to stop the toxins coming into our body. If I had to make a choice between air and water, we breathe 3,000 gallons of air a day. We only drink a gallon of water. So I would start with air, and then I would go to water. So that is why I would prioritize in that direction. I believe that the air can poison us even more if it's toxic. So if you haven't done a Hertz Me test yet, do it. Lisa, I would say do a Hertz Me test. I believe you did a pre-Hertz Me test. I can't remember specifically how high that was, but do a Hertz Me test and see where you are. But the fact that you didn't have that burning smell when you had them off for a little while and then turned them back on. Another thing is having the opportunity to open up the windows to let fresh air in when you turn off the high techs. Absolutely. If you want to open your windows, then turn the high techs off. The caution I have with that is that our outdoor air is not as fresh as it once was. We are getting chemtrailed every day. Some people have pesticides outside. We have to be aware that fresh air is not as fresh as it used to be. In my old neighborhood, when I went for a walk, I could smell my neighbors' houses that were moldy. So I didn't like to open my windows at all there, because when I did, their mold would come in my house. So you have to be aware of that too. If someone has a moldy house and they live near you, especially like if houses are right near each other, then that's something to be cautioned about too. But yes, if you're in a wonderful place like Bermuda, you probably have much fresher air than we do here in the United States. So something to count your blessings. So thanks for pointing that out, Lisa. You always have some great points. And with that, if we don't have any more questions, then we'll wrap up. If anybody has any more questions, just put a wait in the chat or raise your hand so that I know that you're typing a question. And again, if you get in touch with me.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Oh, sorry, Susan, I'm gonna mute you. But again, if anybody is not already using the AO scan and you'd like to sign up, I will put you underneath a person who has ALS who just reached out to me. Marilyn said she came in halfway through. When will the recording be available? I think I'm going to put this one on Rumble again. So I can have that up this afternoon. So yeah. All right. And again, as I was saying, if you haven't signed up, please reach out to me and we will put you under someone who really needs some help with their subscription. If you get 3 people underneath you, if you are already using the QLA, it does make your subscription paid for. So you would make enough money every month with those 3 people to pay for the subscription. So that's what my goal is to, for anybody that is using the AO scan, but really just can't fit it in the budget. I'd really like to see you keep being able to use the AO scan. So God bless. And thank you all for your blessings and thanks. And we'll see you next week. Reach out to me if you need anything. I'm always here for you. Love to all. Oh, Lisa said, what other new courses do they have? I believe the vitals one was the only one. I'll send out, I have to go back on my phone and find out. I can't quite remember how I got there because I didn't know how to get to the university courses, but I'm going to make a note of that right now. And actually, before I do anything else, I'm going to send out an email to everyone. This is how you get to the courses, because there is a place where they're listed. And I think there's like 9 of them now, but I'll get that out to you. There was another one that was a pretty inexpensive one for $49. So I bought the $99 one and the $49 one. The $99 one was the vitals one. The $49 one, I can't even remember what that was, but I saw that it was $49 and I'm like, you know what? I'll just get that one. So yeah, it's always good to have things we can learn. So again, yeah, the vitals. It's like putting the pieces of the puzzle together, I think is the name of it, or connecting the pieces or something like that. So it'll be a really good one. I can't wait to dive into it. All right, everybody. Again, have a good one.